Since childhood, Walt had always been a little imaginative and a little more crazy. He moved out to the West Coast in 1923 and set up a cartoon studio, and by 1941, Walt Disney had already become very successful. He had many crazy dreams, but Disneyland was by far the craziest he had ever had. It all started when he was taking his kids out to ride a carousel for what he had called Daddy's Day.
Well, it came about when my daughters were very young, and Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things, and I would take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places, and as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, sit on a bench, eating peanuts, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together.
Walt had to wait a while before his idea was ready to be shown to the public, but when it was less than a year from opening day of Disneyland.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream. That's it, right here. Disneyland, seen from about 2,000 feet in the air and 10 months away.
Construction began on July 16, 1954. It cost around $17 million in 1955, or about $150 million if you converted it into today's dollars. It took 1 year and 1 day to build. The placement of Disneyland was close to a highway and allowed many people to come in and out of Disneyland daily. On opening day, July 17, 1955, 15,000 guests were invited to join in a media event, but almost twice the amount showed up due to counterfeit tickets. No matter what, the show still had to go on. Thus, Walt Disney proceeded to give his dedication speech.
All who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Thank you.
Opening day was also known as Black Sunday because of the blistering heat and lack of refreshments at the park, but the show had to go on. The dedication speech had set the tone for Disneyland and its future to keep on the right track for being the happiest place on earth. It may have been short and sweet, but it was to the point and clear, helping the company pass Walt's life. The park opened with 5 lands: Main Street, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Frontierland, and Adventureland. Each had its own host of rides and attractions, except Adventureland, which opened with the Jungle Cruise as its only attraction. Many of these rides would be closed or redone, and only about a dozen still operate to this day. Disneyland's immediate success had impressed many, including companies that were going to have pavilions in the upcoming 1964 World's Fair. Pepsi, General Electric, Ford Motor Company, and the state of Illinois had all commissioned Disney and WED Enterprises, Walt Disney's engineering company, to craft rides for use at the fair. WED Enterprises created new technologies like the
audio animatronics
and the People Mover system. These systems would be implemented in attractions that would be designed for the fair and eventually moved to Disneyland. It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, Ford's Magic Skyway, which would eventually be brought to Disneyland as a People Mover, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln would all find the place at Disneyland for all to enjoy. Many of these rides would also become very popular and become classic rides. While Disneyland had surprised many with its success, Walt felt that he did not give himself enough space when he bought the land for the project for expansion. These thoughts, along with others, sparked the idea of an East Coast Disneyland. Known initially as the Florida Project, it would include a park similar to Disneyland as well as other hotels and attractions. This project would end up becoming Walt Disney World, and to make sure he had enough room to expand, Walt had purchased 27,000 acres of land, enough for a small city.
Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed at Disneyland, the blessing of size. There's enough land here to hold all the ideas and plans we could possibly imagine.
Walt wanted to introduce a city of tomorrow, a city of futuristic technologies that he wanted to showcase to the world. It'd be at the heart of Disney World and would show many visitors upcoming technologies in a real-world application.
Epcot will take its cue from the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging from the creative centers of American industry. It will be a community of tomorrow that will never be completed, but will always be introducing and testing and demonstrating new materials and new systems. be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it Epcot.
Unfortunately, Walt would never be able to see the light of day on the Florida project, passing away only a year later in 1966. He was beloved by all and made an impact on everyone around him. His death put many projects on hold, but the legacy he lived and the ideals he put forth in Disneyland gave Disney the guidance to continue the projects Walt had left behind. Much has changed since Walt's passing, including the construction of Walt Disney World. Many new rides were constructed, and many old rides were removed, but Disney still puts the magic in its new attractions. They put on a show for each and every visitor, making them feel at home and keeping the show running even without their leader. Disney has continued to make Disneyland the happiest place on earth for each and every generation. As Disneyland exits its 60th year, new plans and projects are being put in place to keep the park fresh. And as the Carousel of Progress has always said, there's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. The saying will still hold true for Disneyland as they develop new rides for everyone to enjoy.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a dream away.